In the second tutorial, we will translate words into correct symbols and vice versa. So let's look at some of these key words that would represent some inequalities. At least. Adam earns at least $50. Well, if he earns at least $50, this is the smallest amount that he would earn, which means, and I'm going to use an A because we're talking about Adam, if 50 is the smallest, then he's earning something that's greater than or equal to 50. So at least is a greater than or equal to symbol. How about at most? Barb runs at most half a mile. This is the greatest that she runs, so she must have either run something less than that or equal to that. And at most, I'm going to use a B for Barb. Barb runs at most means that she's done something either less than that or equal to the 1/2. So at least represents a greater than or equal to. At most represents a less than or equal to. What about no more than? Chip spends no more than $20, which means he did not spend $21 or $22. He spent something that's either less than $20 or equal to. So for Chip, this is also a less than or equal to, and he spent less than or equal to $20. So at most or no more than both mean the same inequality symbol. What do you think no less than would mean? Mike shares no less than 8 cookies. So Mike shared either 8 cookies or 9 cookies or something greater than that. So Mike was very generous and shared something greater than or equal to his 8 cookies. Let's keep going. More than. Tracy eats more than 5 grapes. So did Tracy eat 5 grapes? No, she ate something more than 5 grapes. So T for Tracy, something greater than 5 grapes or more than 5 grapes does not include the 5, so we don't get the equal to part. And how about my less than? Last one, Xavier walks less than 1.5 miles. He didn't quite get to 1.5 miles. He walked something less than that. So X is less than 1.5. We don't get to include it. So when you see these key words in your word problems, remember what symbol we must use so we can solve our inequalities. Let's look at 2 of them. Let's write the inequalities that are represented by these statements. Number 6, the number of hours a full-time employee can work each week without getting overtime pay is at most 40 hours. Remember that at most is a less than or equal to. We can't get greater than 40 hours. We can only be at most 40 hours. Since we're talking about hours, I might use H. And since we're talking about at most, H must be something that's less than or equal to 40. Once we get more than 40 hours in our week, we have to be paid overtime. Well, depending on our job. But in this case, H must be less than or equal to 40. How about number 7? In order to ride the triple threat roller coaster, a rider must be at least 42 inches tall. Remember that at least is the smallest we can be, so we have to be either equal to or greater than that. We're talking about maybe a rider or maybe the roller coaster, so I might use an R, and R has to be greater than or equal to 42 inches. Remember, 42 inches is the shortest somebody can be to ride this roller coaster. All right. And let's look at our last example. Let's write and solve an inequality to answer this question. Kevin has $515 in a savings account at the beginning of the summer. He wants to have at least, that's going to be important. He wants to have at least $200 in his account by the end of the summer. Remember that at least means greater than or equal to. He withdraws $25 each week for food, clothes, and movie tickets. How many weeks can Kevin withdraw money from his account? All right, so we're also going to need to know that withdraws means subtract, take away. He's spending his money over the summer. So let's talk about what variable we want. I like weeks. We're talking about weeks, so I'm going to make W equal the number of weeks we're talking about. And let's see if we can solve our inequality. Well, let's write it first. So we started with $515, okay? And we're subtracting, we're withdrawing, we're taking away $25 every week. So 25 times however many weeks we know. I don't know how many weeks it is, it's just W right now. We want to have at least $200 left. So that's going to be a greater than or equal to $200. And that's it. There's our inequality. We just need to solve this inequality. I need to solve for W, so I'm going to get rid of this positive 515 by subtracting 515. I'll subtract 515 from both sides, of course. I'll draw my line, and this goes away. My negative 25W will be right here. Subtraction does not change my inequality. 200 take away 515 is negative 315. Okay, one more step. Let's divide this coefficient away. Negative 25 will divide away. I'll do that on both sides. Now watch out. We just divided by a negative, which means that this inequality has to change directions. We have to flip the inequality when we multiply or divide by a negative. W will be all by itself, and negative 315 divided by negative 25 is 12.6. Now let's talk about what this question is asking. It says, how many weeks can Kevin withdraw money from his account? We're not going to talk about partial weeks, so we can do only up to 12 weeks. So I'm going to say at most or up to 12 weeks. That will answer this question. Thanks for watching this tutorial on translating our symbols into words and words into symbols, and we'll practice this in class. Bye-bye.